How hot is it in Ghana?
Um, Let me check. Hold on a sec. I'm guessing about 30, but let me just check and see. Oh, no, 24 degrees. Oh, no. It says 35 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
Let me see if I can convert that to Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
95 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice. Okay, that's pretty hot. That's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
hot. See you joining. Presenters. And there's Edna. And Houston. Welcome, Edna.
Hi, good afternoon. Good morning to you.
Right. And welcome, Winston. And I'm going to make you
Morning.
host.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, John.
Morning. Oops. Oh, I forgot I'm on the other one. Here. And I'm making you a co-host. Just let us know if anything comes up, any questions or anything like that, and if you're okay with that. And then obviously if you see any bad actors trying to disrupt the meeting, you can just so.
Go ahead, John. It's all right.
All right. All right. Give another couple minutes. Oops. Okay, and Winston, where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining from Washington, D.C.
DC. There you go.
Yes, sir.
It's capital. Oh, good. Are you guys what's the weather like over there?
Today it's kind of cloudy, gloomy, but the temperatures are not bad. I think it's in the low 60s.
Okay. For those
It's been a roller coaster. The other day it was 80 degrees here, so
yeah.
who knows what tomorrow will bring.
Yeah, we're in spring now, so yeah, one
Exactly.
hot like that, yeah. Yeah, for those who are not in Fahrenheit, I think Celsius, let's see if I remember what, let's see, low 60s is probably like around 24, 20, I don't know, something like that Celsius.
I had no clue.
I had to get used to that when I was in Singapore. Everybody would give everything in Celsius, and I had no idea what they're talking about. So,
right.
Yeah. A minute or two more, and then we'll go ahead and dive in. And I had the agenda there, but I'll just go through it. So we'll do kind of our welcome and intro first 10 minutes. I'm gonna do an overview on just the market, what's going on, the latest, about 20 minutes. And then we have Isaac doing he's doing a little bit of deep dive into wallets, probably like 15 and then any questions after that. And then Winston, you guys pretty much have the remainder of the time, just like the remaining 45 minutes plus for you guys.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. So that's where
Thank
we're
you.
at. And let me see how we're doing on the time to get started. Give it about 2 more minutes, and then I'll probably just go ahead and start to dive right into it. And Edna, you're in Southern Africa, right? Can everybody see my screen clearly?
Yes.
Good. I'm going to dive in on the intro here, and as people join, just let us know in the chat where they're joining from and everything else. But we'll get going. So did a update, kind of doing we've been doing these meetups every month since the beginning of the year. We're planning to keep them going every month. Have new people from diaspora, from Africa, from all over the world, everybody in kind of African diaspora. We want to have African American, want everybody to be connected to the and then hopefully bringing those in so that people are able to, join and share their projects. And anybody who wants to do that, wants to share a project, welcome to do that. Obviously, we'll vet it. You can talk to me. You can talk to Isaac as well. And then find out a little more about your project. And if you want to have somebody to share it, we're happy to do that. So obviously the community comes on here. Usually we get anywhere from like 20, 30, 40. We'll come on the live meetup there each month. And then we usually have in the chat group, I think there's about 250 and is approaching 700 in the meetup group. So hopefully we'll break 1,000 there and keep growing. The idea is to really connect everybody, create like a digital Wakanda, have everybody around the world connected to do projects and, to be able to benefit from all the energy that's happening right now with digital assets, and we definitely need it. So cool. All right. So the 2025 global landscape, obviously Bitcoin, you guys know, went up to almost 107, almost 107,000. Trump administration is doing a bunch with crypto. So he's making a ton of money, and I'm hoping that all of African diaspora can also make and benefit a lot from this too. And then meanwhile, Africa rapidly emerging as a vital growth frontier for digital currencies. Let's see if that goes there. Good. So this is a little thing that I made up here. Not financial advice. You can see at the bottom there. Definitely not financial advice, but I kind of a approach to cryptos. I have a lot of groups, so man, and people, we have a Bitcoin maxi. Anybody know what a Bitcoin maxi is? Anybody ever heard that term?
Is it someone whose main interest is kind of strictly in Bitcoin?
Yeah. Basically, the idea there for Bitcoin maxi is that Bitcoin is like the only real coin, and everything else is kind of like a fake and needs to go away, basically. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, but Bitcoin is unique, I think. And kind of the strategy that I look at is this one, right? Is that if you look at it like a rocket, generated, okay. The idea is that basically you have the booster rockets. If you've ever seen the rockets take off, the booster rockets are the first ones to get it up off the ground. And that's going to be all the different like meme coins, altcoins, because some of a lot of those are going to go to zero. They can go to nothing, but you get a few. Like I remember there was a African-American guy over here on the East Coast, and he went from like $4,000, like 60 million, like in Shiba Inu, because he part. So that definitely does happen. And you can make a lot of money very quickly. Obviously, you can lose a lot of money very quickly too. So I wouldn't make that the main part of your investment. But the idea is that's kind of the boost. That gets you going, right? So you can possibly make quite a lot from like those memes and the alts out there. But you got to research and figure out what you're going to do. And I certainly personally wouldn't put a huge percentage of of my investment into those. But there is always a possibility that it could do a lot for you. And then the main booster rocket there, right, is going to be so you can get more gains and hold these for longer. This will be like your top 100 altcoins. So that's going to be stuff like you're going to have stuff like BNB, which we have there, and we got Solana and Cardano and those types of things. Next booster stage, right, keeps pushing up further, so you can make a lot more money, even though Bitcoin is best performing asset class for the entire last 10 years. But these other ones, when Bitcoin goes up like 2 times or 3 times, some of them are going to go up like 20 times. So you can see that it's like a great booster. It's going to really push you up and be able to help you to, make a lot more, which is a big deal, of course, right? And then the final stage, like our orbiter, our satellite here going up there, is a Bitcoin. So I agree with the Bitcoin maxis on that, you want for generational wealth, for your kids or children's children, whatever it is, keep the Bitcoin. And actually the strategy that people suggest is that we don't have a lot of it yet, but I think it's coming, is that you're going to actually be, instead of selling your Bitcoin, just like most wealthy people do, keep it. And then instead of selling it, you borrow against it. So you can borrow against the Bitcoin, right? And let's say your Bitcoin is worth $500,000. Then you can borrow $50,000. And then the next year, you can borrow against it again. Hopefully it's gone up. You can pay back the other one. And then you keep on. But you keep that Bitcoin asset because it is getting bought up so fast, right? So the idea is you keep that for generational wealth. So that's kind of the little Bitcoin investment strategy, or rocket, as like looking at it based like a rocket. Anybody have any questions about that? Does that make sense? And again, it's not financial advice, so just throwing that out there. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And I think that the other thing with it is that usually for me, I like dollar cost averaging, right? So you're not kind of panicking every time the market goes up or down. You just consistently buy and also consistently sell and take profits, right? So if you're constantly buying your Solana, your XRP, whatever, just keep buying them in Bitcoin, of course. And then as you're selling them, if you make some profit, just consistently, sell a certain amount each, whatever month or whatever you're going to do when you're in profit. So that's the idea. That way you don't need to panic every time the markets, do this, they do this, because especially in crypto markets, they're going to go up, way down, way up, right? So you got to be able to be pretty even and, not get panicked by that. All right, so crypto landscape under Trump, all right? So we got the strategic reserve now. So they've announced they're going to have a national cryptocurrency stockpile in the US, which is going to, based on kind of game theory idea, you're going to get a lot of people around the world, a lot of other countries, which are already doing it. They're all going to start trying to get Bitcoin too, right? So that's going to send the price up. It's going to keep sending it up because everybody's trying to get it, and there's only 21 million of them that are ever going to be there, right? So there's only so many, and I think that the U.S. has said they're going to try to get 1 million Bitcoin. And then the White House summit, right? They had that 2, 3, I think it might have been our last meetup last month, and they had the White House summit, right? So for crypto, so now it's very accepted in the government space there, at least from a U.S. perspective, and global leadership, right? Commitment to lead the world as a U.S. crypto capital of the world. So that's what's happened there. And then the policy, right? Very pro-crypto SEC. For any of you who've been following what's been happening, the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, has been very against crypto, right? So they've been, trying to destroy it prior to this administration. They've been trying to take it down. They've been trying to unbank anybody who's involved. They've been trying to do everything they could. So it's a very big deal that it's flipped now. And all of a sudden, it's very pro-crypto, right? It's very pro. Everybody wants to support it. And you see banks and everybody getting on board. So it's a very different day now because of the policy. Bitcoin holdings are preserved. So they kept about 200,000 Bitcoin. I'm not doing the math here. Someone wants to do the math, but whatever that is worth right now. So if I did 100,000, what is that? 2 billion, something like that. Anyway, I'll let somebody do the math there, but that's how much the U.S. government's holding currently, and they're going to start building on top of that. And then World Liberty Financial, that is, I think that is Trump's company that launched a new crypto platform. So obviously he's making a ton of money from this, and you can guess that the people who are in power are making a ton of money from it. There's a lot of money to be made, right? There's a lot of wealth that's going to be generated here. There we go. Right. Interesting. So this one is about basically what's happening in Africa, right? So 5 of the top 30 countries in crypto are African nations. Nigeria is the second in the world, which is really funny. I was having this conversation, I think it was in the Harnett group, but I'm not sure. And someone was saying, oh, Nigeria is never going to allow it. They're never going to allow anybody to use cryptocurrency, right? Welcome, Jacqueline. They said they're never going to allow, Nigeria is never going to allow it. And if anybody has been keeping track of Nigeria, and I'm Nigerian on my dad's side, even though the government has been like kind of hot and cold, the people have been buying this stuff like crazy, which is why Nigeria is like the second position in the whole world, right? And then you got 125 billion in transaction volume in Africa, right? Blockchain value moved in 12 months, so a lot there. And in terms of people, right, 44 million African users, and I expect we're going to see a lot more as people start to get more comfortable. And I think it's very important. We'll actually see it on the next one, I think, here, why it's so important, not only for Africa, but also for diaspora, right? So African crypto markets overview, right? You got Nigeria, the largest crypto economy, receiving 59 billion in crypto value, pretty good. And if you have Naira or you have, any other currency, right? Zimbabwe, wherever you are, if your currency is going down, down, down in value, right? Especially against the dollar, it's a really good idea to have some Bitcoin, right? Because then even if everything's going down for your currency, you're good because you're still storing that value, right? And then South Africa, developing regulatory frameworks and global institutional interest. There's quite a lot going in South Africa. South Africa is much more connected to the global financial system. Ethiopia, they actually are mining now, I think, based on the water for the Nile and the dam that they built. So they're actually generating a lot. They're becoming a mining hub for renewable energy and doing Bitcoin mining, which I think is really smart. I'd love to see all of the African nations and all African American diaspora all involved in mining Bitcoin, because that would give us more control to be a part of that economy as it develops. And then Kenya, leading in mobile money solutions. Yes, I've probably heard of M-Pesa, and the blockchain payment innovations. And I think it's actually becoming kind of like almost like a Silicon Valley in Africa, actually, too. And in Ghana, increasing adoption via remittances and financial inclusion efforts. And obviously, after the year of return, there are a lot of people who are connecting there with Ghana. And so you got a lot of people coming from America and the West as well, who are also connecting that too. Okay. Change for me. All right. So African crypto use cases, right? We got DeFi. If you guys all know decentralized finance, that's like Uniswap or PancakeSwap, and you can put some, coins out there and you can make a pretty good return on it, right? So you can get, some amount, just you have the passive income coming. Sorry, let me see, somebody's not able to get in. So the place, cancel. Okay. Isaac, I don't know if in the chat, in the Telegram chat, can you see if I think Samar.
That wasn't sorted.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then microtransactions. So small value transfers are now feasible. You're able to get in to it, right? And you can do very small transactions, which is really, really good. Like I said, I've, had team members that, I've worked with across the continent, and, it's very easy for me to, send to them just using crypto. Financial inclusion. And the financial inclusion aspect, of course, is that, as most of you know, and this is not only true for Africa, actually, it's actually true for basically the global South. And it's actually even true for African American. There's a lot of basically just being excluded from the banking system. In Africa, it looks like you may not be able to access like international banking or, dollar transfers or anything like that at all. In America, it looks like, we have something called redlining, which means in certain neighborhoods, you don't get loans, you don't get mortgages, you don't get, access to certain things. Doesn't mean people don't have any bank accounts at all. But so a lot of those issues are throughout. It's very systemic. And of course, with Bitcoin, different cryptocurrencies, you can get access to that across the board, which is great, right? So you're not just cut out of it. And then cross-border payments. So cross-border payments, obviously, it's no problem. If I want to send, a payment right now to anybody, any one of you here, I can easily do that. Not a problem, which is really good. And then inflation hedge, as we talked about, obviously it's much tougher if you're in Ghana or Nigeria or, you're across the continent, because those currencies keep going down against the dollar. However, even if you're in the US, it's the value of the dollar has gone down a lot, right? So in 20 years ago, whatever it was, you could easily buy a house for maybe like $50,000 or something. Now, I think the average house price is like 450, 500,000. So that means that basically not only the price of houses has gone up by 10 times, but the value of the dollar basically has gone down by 10 times against the value of the house. So that's what's happening. And then if you had Bitcoin in that time, let's say over the last 10 years, you couldn't have had it for 20. Well, say you have Bitcoin over the last 10 years, that $500,000 house would now basically cost you like 5 Bitcoin, right? So maybe 5 or 6. So that is very valuable, right? That's how you basically hedging against inflation and not losing all your money that you've been working so hard for. Okay, so challenges and opportunities. We got limited internet infrastructure. This is in Africa for it, but hopefully that's growing. Uncertain regulatory environment and high energy demands for mining, even though like Ethiopia, there's a lot of natural, whether it's solar, things like that, that could easily be used for mining in terms of Bitcoin, which I think would be a very good idea for the continent to have a lot of Bitcoin mining happening, because all over the world, everybody's trying to get control of that now. Opportunities, technological innovation potential. You got growing institutional investment. So institutions in not only Africa, but all over the world, the US, everywhere else, Europe, are all getting into and holding Bitcoin now and different cryptos in the US, and leapfrogging traditional financial systems. So we know that if you're on the continent, you're probably not going to be getting like, into the Western SWIFT system, the banking, all that. It takes a long time to get all that, to be allowed to get into that. And you may not, right? But if you're going directly into Bitcoin, crypto, digital assets, you can do that maybe tomorrow, right? Almost anyone there who's got a phone, anyone who's joined this meeting for sure, you can join right in and it's no problem, right? And you're immediately able to get right into digital assets. So it's a good way for Africa diaspora, global South to leapfrog and actually get way ahead of this, right? And that's what we want to do. All right, let's see if I can get this to go to my next slide. Here we go. So this one is about empowering Black entrepreneurship, which I really like. I generated this, by the way, using a presentation tool called Gamma, and the base of the presentation took me like 5 minutes. I took a little more time customizing it, but pretty nice. If you never tried it, give that a try. Saved me a lot of time. So you can see for entrepreneurship here, there's Damon Johns. See easier access to capital, right? Entrepreneurship opportunities and wealth building. And really, this has been the real issue. I mean, this is something I've been trying to address myself for quite some time, is that you could have a really good idea. You could be really brilliant. We got a lot of really brilliant people throughout Africa diaspora. The problem is access to capital, access to money is like almost nothing, right? So you find that all these really great ideas, they're not getting funded, but using crypto, using Bitcoin, you actually have the opportunity to get funding. You can get peer-to-peer funding, outside of the US, you can still do ICOs, I think. You can fund through things like NFTs, non-fungible tokens. You can issue those. There's a lot of ways you can raise funding that you could have never done it before, right? So instead of it just being Silicon Valley and a very small group who can get access to funding, now all of us can. That is something that's a real game changer, and I think hopefully something that everybody here takes advantage of, because that's going to make a very big difference for all of us. Inclusive innovation, of course, and we need to stay on top of it. That's why we do these meetups, because we want to make sure that we've got enough, enough involved in the game that we actually have a part in the changes that are going to happen. Right? We don't want to just wait and catch them at the end. I don't know why this doesn't just get to the next slide. Give me a second here. Let's see. Isaac, was Samara able to get the link that she needed?
Yeah, I've sent it to her via the DM. When you get a moment after your presentation, if you can just check the meetup thing, because I think the link's expired on the website.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. A moment. There's some aspects of this that's a little bit experimental, but anyway, there we go. All right, so you can see updates from Asia and around the world, right? The global crypto landscape continues evolving with significant developments across Asia, right? So you got China, they have obviously digital yuan, which is really a central bank digital currency, so it's controlled by their government. I'm not a great fan of that, but that is what they're doing. You got India's regulatory shift, right? So India is now starting to get into it, especially with what the Trump administration is doing. They're starting to make it clear what they're going to do. Singapore is a hub. I had a business out of Singapore for a number of years. And so they're really becoming a premier crypto-friendly location along with Hong Kong. And then you got EU, and they're basically doing a lot of regulation for crypto operations. Not necessarily as open as some of the other markets, but they're definitely making their own moves and trying to get ahead of it as well. All right, so for the future, sorry, that's just smart here. A moment. Okay, so for the future, we have about 562 million projected users worldwide, strategic reserves, right? And government exploring long-term crypto holdings, which is great. So a lot of momentum coming in now, even with the stuff that's happening, the prices and the trade wars and tariffs. There's a lot structurally that's really positive for this market. So something that we all want to be keeping an eye on is Warren Buffett, who says that basically his investing strategy, I think it's Warren Buffett, who says that, when there's blood in the streets, everything is like everybody's afraid and they're panicked. He said that's the time to buy. That's the time to get involved in investment. So I agree with that, right? When everybody's like panicking, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's a time, right? If everybody's at the very top and everybody's in and everybody gets it, there's very little benefit, at least as an investor. Now, obviously, financial inclusion, you can still benefit. But from an investment perspective, you're going to be limited if you're kind of waiting until like everybody, that in the neighborhood and everybody that is all agreeing on it. That is kind of too late at that point. Okay. African market growth. The continental position is key adoption frontier. So probably going to be one of the places where you see the very most activity happening. and technological evolution, right? That's continuing, and it's continuing to grow rapidly. And we want to see African diaspora, African Americans, African Europe, UK, Europe, all being a part of the development of what's happening. Okay, so that's the little intro of what's happening in the market this month. Anybody have questions, Q&A, anything that is you're wondering about? Now I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Isaac and also see what's going on the website. So Isaac, I'm going to hand it to you. Let me make you a presenter. Hold on. And you can pick up there. You should be able to present now. I'm also going to make you a host. And
Hi
then
everyone, hope everyone's well. I'm gonna just continue on from where John left off. Actually, I'm gonna start with the charts to have a look at the Bitcoin charts. There was also a request to look at EOS chart. I'll also look at the dot chart and any other charts that you lot want me to have a quick look at. I can do a quick scan to see how things are looking. And this is solely just to give people an insight as to if they decide they want to get into the trading side of things, just things to be mindful of. Just give me one moment. I'll start my share. All right, can everyone see my screen? Yep, cool.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I know we've had a lot going on with Bitcoin lately, and I posted this chart in the group a few days ago, just to give people a bit of an insight as to where we're at on the general market. For anyone that doesn't trade or doesn't use TradingView, this is a platform where you can see what the current outlook is for loads of different sort of assets. It's not just solely for crypto. You've got Forex, stocks, everything, anything you can think of in the market, you can have a look at. So what I've done, this is a few weeks back, probably a few months back now, I looked at what Bitcoin was doing on a monthly cycle, and if it was making any higher lows, lower lows, and just basically just trying to get a direction of the market. As I've said before, I've been trading for a while, not as frequently as I do now, as I used to, I should say. I more look for positions to trade where on a weekly, daily setup. So I look for very high probability setups. So as you know, when was it? It was December when we was going into all-time high. January, we had that 110K region that Bitcoin hit and then came back down again. A lot of people might have got in at that stage, and unfortunately, if you're trading, I'll be very surprised if you're still in your position. If you're not trading and you're investing for a very, very long term, it doesn't really matter, because if you see something with value, obviously you try and get in as low as possible, but if you get in wherever you get in, you just hold on. You only lose once you sell. So we're currently at a level, I'll go to the weekly now. So what I've done here, I've tried to make this chart as simple as possible. I've taken off all my fancy indicators and everything else just to try and simplify what I'm seeing in the market. And I've gone through various different transitions of trading, from having 10 indicators, moving the averages, and all sorts of things wonderful things that you can name. And I've gone down to the very basics. I'd solely base my trading on divergence which it will show if the market volume. This is here is like I have got a separate indicator that shows me a lot more analytics on the market volume. But this is basically what I'm looking at on the market volume. And the divergence for me is looking at, is the volume in the market reflective as to what the price is doing? If the price is doing something totally different to the volume, then that's when I'll be looking for a position to either take a long position to go long, which is to buy, usually reflected by the green candles, or if the market look like is a bit overheated and the volume isn't reflecting where the price is, and then I'll look for position to short, which is to opposite side of buying, which is to sell. And those are usually reflected in the red candlesticks. I'm not going to go into what candlesticks are and all of that. We can save that for another day if there is a general interest in that. So I've drawn this trend line here. Like I said, I drew this probably around about September. Well, actually, I didn't draw it September 2023. I probably drew it towards the end of last year. And I look for points where there's been considerable touch points where I can see the direction of the market is going. And I am highly confident that usually trend lines hold. And what you can see here, sometimes they don't, and I have to redraw my lines. But what you can see here is that there's been a slight uptrend. And usually what price would do is it's like a magnet back to these trend lines. Where it comes back on the trend line is you won't know until you get to that point or you get closer to that point. So I've extended it out a few times, and it looks like it might be coming into me in and around the 70K mark, which is interesting because these are the key levels of support that we seem to be where Bitcoin has had resistance. We had a resistance here 2021, March 2021. Price wicked up here. We had these red candles and it came back down again. Similar again, we had November 2021, price came back, it got rejected in this region. And that's the 65, between 65, 70K, they just call it 70K region, and came back down again. It's done its consolidation and then came up and retested it again for the third time. But this retest was interesting because we didn't have it then come down and make another lower low where price broke down below the previous lows. And it continues to hold that as a support around the 45, 47K region up to 50K. And what we've got here is when price did come back down, this green candle was interesting for me, August 2024. What I usually tend to look for is when price wicks down in a certain direction and to see what the market is, who comes in to buy, who comes in to sell. And these green wicks here, I'll make the screen a little bit bigger that you can see it, shows you that buyers stepped in aggressively. Usually we'll get a red wick. But buyers in August 2024, buyers stepped in aggressively during this week and the price held up, and this is where we had a continuation and then up to making the new all-time high. Right, so where we're at now is what I was kind of indicating about the divergence. So I'll just do some silly little line. So what we've seen here is price has been going up, but the volume, even if we go from 2021, has considerably been going down. And that for me is a concern as to where we're at. It is showing kind of a bullish sentiment at the moment, but we have not got the volume in the market for continuation to break another all-time high. There will have to be considerable amount of volume coming into the market for us to be able to take it back up to the next level. What area that we want to look at for is this area here, where we've got it tried to break out again in 2021, tried to break out again in 2024, and we finally broke out. If price holds up in this region here, when it comes back down to retest, because price will come back down to retest this level. One of the things that you're going to get in any market is you have buyers and you have sellers on both sides, and you have to have that equilibrium. What we had in this period here was strictly buyers. It was just literally, it was just going, price was just rocketing. Nobody was selling, everyone was buying. It was euphorium. We've balanced out in this region. Usually these are called, well, I've known them to be called fair value gaps, where the market will usually come back down to create a balance. But we still got a considerable area here where there probably still is some people that might want to take profits, might want to sell here. So price could fully I'm confident price will fully revisit this level here. And we will see what's going to happen. We might get continuation up in the next week or so, and it goes to test another all-time high, who knows? Or it will consolidate in this area to see, is there enough buyers to support the level where we're at this support level that we previously broke out of. If price can support this level, then we might see another continuation up to break this all-time high of 110K. What you want to look out for, anything below this level, if we get a strong weekly close or even a monthly close below this level with candles, then we're going to be looking at where price is going to be continuing and downwards. And it's easy to say, oh, price is going to go up, it's going to go down. I try and be as disciplined with what price is doing from week to week. And once I know that, yes, we've created a strong support here, there's a lot of activity, price isn't really going up or going down, it's just creating a foundation like it was kind of doing here. People were coming in, a little bit of up and down, and then eventually it made its next wave up to break the 60K level, to break the previous all-time high. So for me, watch this area here. If we break down, my confidence for it to come back and retest the trend line at some point, not sure exactly when, at some point would be interesting. I was having a conversation with some friends offline as to what area would I see price coming to. I had earmarked the 60K level, but because there is a lot of bullish sentiment, and one of the key indicators was with the tariffs, I don't usually pay too much attention to fundamentals, some good reasons, some bad reasons. I love technicals, and it's always interesting how what is happening on a macro sphere with the economics usually kind of aligns with what's happening on the technical level. So I've tried to cut out all of the noise that's happening on the market with tariffs and everything else. The only fundamentals for me, which I'm always mindful of, is a hack. If there's a hack on a system for whether it be Ethereum or whatever, or an exchange, that usually has a big effect on the market with price. That's the only fundamental I look for. Or there might be some fundamental noise in regards to something happening with a network. So I've still got the 60K mark earmarked to see what will happen if price will come back down there. The market is what the market is. It could just literally just wick down and buyers just come in aggressively and gobble up all of the available Bitcoin at that level, and then we take another level up. What you want to see is a close above a certain price, not these long candles with these wicks here. They're good indicators. We want to see a strong close above a level. So when we broke the all-time high, we had the price shoot up in this level, and that weekly close on the 4th of November was the indicator that, yes, we broke the all-time high and we're going to stay above that all-time high. And then we had to consider the continuation up to that price. And what was also interesting is the volume for me. Like I said, I'll go back to the volume. The volume, yes, we're at this level. We had this wick up as well. Buyers were there, but they weren't there aggressively. But the sellers haven't kind of taken full control. So we'll see if the buyers are going to step back in again when we get back to this level, to see if there will be a continuation to break the most recent all-time high from January, or if we're going to have a strong close below here and make another little bit of a downtrend to lower levels. Is there any questions on BTC, on Bitcoin, as I've got the chart up? If not, you can feel free to unmute, or I'll go on to the next coin that we've got on the list. No, cool. So EOS was one that was added to the chat to have a look at. And it's, for me, it's quite interesting. Let me just go to the monthly. So the all-time high, I think it was that 2018, 21? No, 2018. The all-time high was, so we had a $15 wicked up. It didn't really break the all-time high. Not enough buyers in the market. And what is very interesting, yes, it has been making some decent gains recently, but nowhere near what it's probably done. Look, that's probably like down 100% nearly, or close enough to, since the most recent one. We just measured that down. So it's 96% down from its most recent high back in May 2021. So what I like about this chart personally is this being this consolidation. Usually I would have looked at to see if it maintained, if it broke down below its most recent lows, which it has done. This level here would be interesting level. Price broke down its low. It did shoot up here, came back. It's retested it again. When was that? November 2024. So what we want to look for here on this chart is the key levels. So we've had what percentage was that? So since March, shy of a month, it's done about 50%, which is good. So it's done about 50%, but this is the level it needs to break. This is the key area it needs to break. So you can see here, when was this? August 2022. Even though it broke this area, it didn't close long enough in that zone for it to be, something must have happened here, because we've got a strong candle here that closed, green strong candle closed above. That, for me personally, if I was looking to whether invest or trade in it, that would have given me the confidence to say, yep, cool. We've had a close there, and we had another close here above that line. But something must have happened in this 2022. I can't remember what it might. 2022 rings a bell. Something definitely happened that spooked it, and it came back down, and since then hasn't been able to revisit. It's tested it once, November 2024. So what you would want to look for is similar. Is price going to break this $1.50 level and stay above this line? If it does, fantastic. That or you could be, if you're feeling kind of adventurous, that's 81. There's nearly 100, nearly 100%. So 81% price increase if it breaks above this level, which would still be a decent return, depending on how much you're putting into it. If it does break above this level and we see some consolidation here, where price stays above that line and continues up, then that would give me confidence to say, yes, we're back. This might be back in its bull market, ready to start hitting levels that it was previously hitting before. But you need to have confidence in there. There is enough volume coming into the market to reflect that. We're getting big, strong candles here, green candles. There's a lot of volume coming in. Buyers seem to be stepping in aggressively, more so than you was getting before. We just draw a line here. So that for me is it's actually a very good sign. Because if you look at the lows that we had previously here, what price was that? Just around the $1 mark. It's broke above that. So even if you want to go to the daily chart, take it to the daily chart, this will probably be a key area. So the $1 mark is obviously it's a psychological level, nice whole round number. If price can break it back above here and get a strong close, it could be then start making its gains towards breaking across its most recent high. But for me, the volume is definitely looking like the volume's coming into the market on this coin, and wherever the interest is. I haven't done any research on the fundamentals as to what's happening on the network, or if there's some sort of collaboration or something's happened. Something's interesting's happening in the background. What is
Like 2 cycles ago, Isaac, to chime in, they had they got a lot of money. There was like $1 billion, something like that, I think. And
okay?
they kind of didn't do anything with it, and they kind of disappeared from the scene. And I think they started making a lot of news announcements in like the last few months that they're going to start reinvigorating the whole project, and this thing's been going up a lot in the last several weeks. So I was curious about that myself.
Okay, brilliant. And we've got a hot mic.
Yeah, let me mute that. Welcome,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, so yeah, that chart looks interesting. It'll be something to definitely keep a watch. I've added it to my watch list just to see how things play out, because you can always add on this. You can always add alerts at key levels to see if it breaks the level. You get a notification. But I'll keep that on my watch list to see how that plays out. But I like the look of this. It's definitely looking like it's ready to make some aggressive moves, building back up again. So yeah, something to watch. Is there any other coins on the block on crypto that anyone wants me to have a quick look at, that maybe you might be watching yourself, or you've invested in and your portfolio is not looking great? You want to see how the charts are looking on the technical side of things? I'm happy to have a look. I don't know if there's no one's put anything in the chat. One of the other ones that I put in the group was DOT, and the reason why I had put that was it's another one that it's got a very beautiful setup in regards to how it could be positioned, and I would like to see what it's going to do over the next few weeks, because we're at a very interesting level with DOT, where it's back at the same level again. It's been at this level numerous times, the $4 mark. And where we are, we're just below it now, but it seems to be holding. So this is the fourth test of this area, and I'll go to the daily. And and what you do when price has just been in this area, it's just been consolidating. And usually when you get this consolidation, it's just basically just getting interest, people buying in, taking out small positions to see where things are, to test the market. If there's enough sellers, something could either happen on the network that could just absolutely tank it. That can happen at any time. You always have to be mindful of that when you just solely trading on technicals. But with technicals, there's a level where people will be like, regardless of the price, I will continue to buy. And this is one of those levels where people have been continuously been buying at it. So what we'd want to see price do, key levels here, we'll look at where we've had lots of touches. So we broke up above here. What's that? 5.7, 5.7. So I'll say here. This is where we'll be looking at 5.2. Anything above here, and it could get very, very interesting. And just going a little bit back onto the Bitcoin thing, where I was talking about having an equilibrium and a balance in the market. You can't have solely people just buying. You've got to have people selling to have that balance in any market, whether you're trading sugar or you're trading cryptos. This done exactly the same thing. We had aggressive buyers coming in, and the market has balanced itself back in with the sellers. So it's either a case that the people that have been short in selling are exhausted and there isn't any more people to sell. And then now the buyers are going to slowly start stepping in and taking price up to a new level. What we had with XRP was slightly different, where yes, it was a more of a fundamentals decision that was made. But if you had been watching XRP, like loads of people have been, you see it was just consolidating, slowly building up positions for what's that, 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. 3 years even. People have just been building up positions, a few aggressive buys here and there, but constantly building up positions. And where we had the announcement, I think it was a given that at any time that news was going to come out regarding XRP, that we was going to see some sort of reaction in the market. I was not expecting it to be anything close to this. We had, what was that, a 350% for a couple of weeks, and then it took it up to nearly 500% gains for some people. But anyone that had been holding longer than that, that's nothing to probably what they've been, what the gains they've seen in their portfolio over the last few years. So yeah, so that's my little technical roundup of the market. Is there anyone that has asset they want me to have a look at on the charts on TradingView? Any crypto coins want me to have a look on the charts? No, no problem.
Can you get PDAI up? That's
Oh.
PDAI.
Let me
It's
have a
on
look.
Pulse Chain.
Yeah, let's have a look. 1 second. I'll go back to my share. Is it a, because I'm aware of PDAI, is it, I don't think there's a corresponding USDT.
It might be paired against WPLS, as in Wrapped Pulse.
Oh, sorry, I just lost my screen share. 1 second. All right, let me just get it up 1 second. Let's get this chart up. Let's get this chart up. Sorry, can you see my screen?
No,
Not yet.
1
To
second.
share for you?
PDAI,
Right,
PI,
okay.
Pi. So you can repeat that again.
PDAI. It might, if it's not paired with any stable coins, it might be paired against WPLS or PLS.
That might be something that comes up on Dex Screener. That might not be.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got, I don't really use Dex Screener, to be honest. PDAI, yeah. It's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna come up on TradingView.
No worries. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Hex?
Let's see what we've got for Hex.
What? Yeah, it looks like it just Hex, yeah.
Yeah. See what date we've got. Similar. Like anything else, it's been taking a battering since its all-time high, September 2021. It's down probably just like everything else, 95%, 80%. Everything's down plus that.
Yeah.
But for me, it looks like it's I can't seem to get any market volume on it, which is interesting. This level here. So if we look at it's back at its all-time low, at its low where it was first introduced. And it's holding.
Yeah.
So we had interesting. This level that it's currently at is very crucial. Let me just quickly online here. So this was a zone it broke out of 0.004, came back, stayed above the 0.004, and then we broke down below it, tested it, retested it on September 2024, and it's back at that same level. We want to see what's going to happen here. Are we going to hold at this level? This wick is interesting from, when was that, last week? No, sorry, that was December 2024. What's going on with this chart? Why are we showing it on Yeah, there's not a lot of data coming in for it to give us all the full readings, but what we work with what we've got. So it's held this level, this price zone, but we had this red wick here that kind of just closed just below. And the buyer, it doesn't look like there's been enough buyers that have stepped in to defend that zone. Because what you usually get here is a nice green candle wick to show that buyers stepped in aggressively and they're ready to defend this level. And if they defend this level, then we can make a continuation up. What we want to see is say close of play Sunday is how price closes, because this could be that green wick candle. I've added it to my watch list. I can keep an eye on it. And if we get that, then it could be interesting to say, okay, well, maybe we do have some buyers stepping in to defend this level, but I can't get any. Let me see if I can put my other indicator on the oscillator. So we had a divergence here, broke back above, it made a high. So we had a high here. So right, so so what we had here was this was the high, and it eventually broke out of it with enough volume. What you've seen on this oscillator that I use is the sellers are starting to dry up. So if you can, can you see that? I don't know if that's clear enough. So what this red line that I usually tend to look for is doing it. It's basically showing how much people are, how many sellers, how many sellers are in the market. And when this usually fades out, the sellers aren't really there. If it breaks down below this level, because this usually flips green to show that there is considerable buyers coming in. But if we zoom back out to the monthly, this for me looks like, and I'm happy to put my neck on the line, it looks like it's ready to explode. It actually looks to me like it's ready to explode. This is the key line that we want it to cross. This will be halfway line, whatever you want to call it, on an oscillator. We've had considerable consolidation below key levels. There's just not enough data coming on. I'll have to look at this on another chart. Let's see what else we've got. So here you've got another key level that you want to look to break above. What's that? 0, 0.
Isaac, how do you identify what are the key levels as you're looking at this?
Yeah, so what I do is where we get frequent touches in price. So or where price gets rejected. So you have areas where you have support and resistance level. So this was price broke above, hit this level here, there's so many 0.0038, and then it came back and retested it and created a support. So once we had that level as a support, I would then look to see how many times have we touched that zone for it to be classified as a strong support, because it will touch that zone and it will go back up. If it usually breaks down below that, that support is no longer valid. And then we'll next look for the next level where there has been numerous touches with price. Price broke up above here. So we had it come back down again, and then this was a resistance level. So when it broke up above this resistance level, obviously whatever was happening on that network, I don't know, and it came back down, it tested what was the previous resistance and then created it as a support. Once it came back down to test it, because this was the key area where we had a significant breakout, it then turned it into a support level. So here we've got the support. Now, this is our support, which would now make it another key level. Price came back up, down. It didn't even, whatever was happening, it just shot straight back down May 2023. It didn't really make an attempt again, and it hasn't made an attempt again soon. It broke back down below what would have been our previous support. It didn't even test it to make it a resistance level. So we don't even have that 0.01 level as a resistance. So we've got to break this zone here to create this as to break this resistance level. would then be interesting. If we break above this level here and then turn this into support, that would be good. If it doesn't break this resistance level and it doesn't even really test it and comes back down, because this is technically, this low here is our new support. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches here. This is our new support. So this is the key zones that we've got. We've got our new support, which is 0.00008. If price breaks down back below here, and let's say it tests this and goes back up, great, that's fine. We've got enough buyers in that area. If price stays at this level and turns this into support, we can disregard this for the time being, because now we have a new support to look at. But then our resistance level, our ceiling, will be this area here. If we can break above this ceiling, we'll then turn this into a support level. So what you always want to do when you're trading is take it level to level. It's easy to just jump to say, oh, price is going to go to $1, $22 or whatever it is, or $100. Just take it level to level. Break a key level, create that level as a support, and then we're happy. Right, that might be, you might have a few levels that you say, okay, I'm going to buy, if price revisits this zone, I'll buy a few more hex here. If price breaks above this and it doesn't retest it, all right, I've missed my opportunity here. I can't see it come back down. I'll buy some more at this level. This is the new support. Resistance levels can also be where people take a lot of profits as well. It hits a ceiling. You're like, you know what? I'm happy with that. Price has moved up from here to here. That's about 180, 200%. I'll take some profit there. I'll take some money off the table, and whatever happens, happens. If it goes up and does 1,000%, 10,000%, it's neither here nor there for me. I've taken what I wanted to get out of this market, this asset. But here, like I said, this indicator is called Lux Algo. I bought it many, many years ago. And it usually does prove to be very accurate in what it's telling me on the sentiment of the market. But like not a lot of people use, there's lots of different indicators on the market. So when I'm usually showing people how to navigate using TradingView, I just stick to just using the volume candles because that's free. I use a free TradingView account because I don't trade as frequently as I used to trade before, and I don't need to have as much information or noise as I used to have. Now it's just a case of looking at key levels. So here you've got this level here. Let's see what happens at the end of this week, over the next few weeks, if it holds it as a support, or we go to the daily. We get a better picture on the daily, low time frame. So like I was saying, tested, try to test. This green candle wick here just shows you that sellers stepped in aggressively. They just shut it down. Price tried to explode out of that and got absolutely shut down. They slowly tested it again. I'm trying to keep this as basic as possible. So if I'm not using terminology that you think is not very technical, because I know there's some people on the line that will even just get lost. Prices try to retest it, but what I think has happened here is that the sellers or the shorters got exhausted and they were like, yeah, cool, we've made enough money here, whatever happens, happens. And it made another higher high. It closed above that previous high with a nice green candle, and then obviously exploded out of the blocks. And then that's what we've got here, and it's come back down again. We did have a divergence here where, and this is a good indicator of showing you what a divergence looks. This is a regular bearish divergence. And what a regular bearish divergence is that, let's say the candles, the price on the candles are showing that price is making higher highs, but the volume in the market is not reflective as to what the price is actually doing. So we've got people showing buy, but the volume is actually dropping out. And here you see the volume's dropped out, and obviously prices then made a high there, it made a lower here as well, and then it's made its descent back down again. But yeah, so what we'll wait to see here is, are the buyers going to create this and turn this level into the new support? If it goes below here, so this is our previous low. Yeah, if it goes below this zone here, a few zones here, then I would see if it's going to hold or if it's going to go back down here and test this zone. Probably not, because it looks like sellers are exhausted. It's starting to dry up. It might just hold in and around this area here, between here and there, and then make another move for the upside. But we're a long way off. If you believe in what's happening with Hex, very interesting project. Probably a very, very, very good time to load up. Not financial advice. Do what you want to do. It's your money, not your mum or your dad. But yeah, interesting setup. Interesting setup. Is that making sense, or was anyone confused? It's because it's exactly the same as you see on Bitcoin as well. It's not any different. Obviously, Bitcoin's got a lot more history and a lot more data that we can analyze, and there's a lot more happening in the real world that can obviously make things a lot more confusing. But this for me is fairly straightforward. This could be our new support. Wait to see how it closes, and then if we're gonna make another upgrade, or we're gonna just basically consolidate in and around this area. If price breaks back above this bit, this is our recent high, then yeah, great. What we've got here is a lot of sellers, so the market will always balance itself out. Always balances itself out. So this area is gonna get filled. Just a case of when. I hope that is of help. Any other questions?
So I'll ask at the end. I was interested in another token, which is Pi, but we need to get Winston on so he can present the easy
Yeah, sure.
his project. So maybe at the end, if you're okay at the Q&A, maybe we can do some more coins. I'm interested.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Great. Thank you, Isaac. And Winston, let me make you a presenter there. I'm not sure if your partner's going to join as well. And we can go ahead. You should be able to present if you want to share on screen. Winston's going to share his project, EasyBot. And yeah, go ahead, Winston.
All right. Thanks, John. And thank you, Isaac, for the excellent tech breakdown. I'm going to share with you EasyBot. I'm CEO for Crypto Stronger and the global sales director for EasyBot. EasyBot really is simply a crypto auto trading software platform. We're not a trading company, or we're not an exchange. So we assist individuals to get into the crypto space utilizing algorithmically programmed trading bots that's pretty much runs itself 24 hours a day, right? Has a low entry fee, so that way everyone can participate. And I just kind of want to share how we are connecting communities around the world, particularly in Africa, particularly in the Caribbean. My background, my family is from Jamaica. And, you know, just like anywhere else, the currency is disproportionate to, you know, some of the main countries, but cryptocurrency, and that's why education is so key. Cryptocurrency levels the financial playing field. So we want everybody to be able to participate one way or the other, to get in, to be able to start growing their portfolios. It's simply a tool. It doesn't stop anything. If you are a trader, it can be utilized to enhance. If you know nothing about trading, this is a good way to get in. And the most important thing really for me is the safety factor, because you never send any of your funds outside of your exchange. The software does an API connect, trusted IPs, and simply for buy-sell orders. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is to play a short video to give an overview, and then I will share a few slides, and we'll close it out. All right, is everyone seeing the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so let's take a look.
Is there sound, Winston?
Yes, okay, I'm sorry about that. let's see if, for whatever reason, the audio. Okay. You're still not hearing the sound?
Maybe if you stop the share and start again. Sometimes on Zoom,
All
you got to
right.
click the little
All right.
box at the bottom that says share
Okay.
sound. So if you stop the share, start it again, and that should be like on the bottom left. If you click, you know, when you did the share, click share sound or share audio, and then it should work.
Still not hearing it?
No, I don't hear it. Hey, does
Let's-
anybody else hear it? Is it just me?
No. I can't hear.
No, there's no
Okay.
sound.
Do me a
There's no
favor.
sound?
Can you,
All right, let me.
Winston, can you give me the link in the chat? Maybe the audio will work for me. If you want to
Okay.
put the link in the chat, I can try to play it for you.
Sure. All right, there goes
Stop real
the.
quick.
All right.
Give me like a few seconds if you want to comment on something else, and I'll see if I can
Yeah.
pull it up.
All right, so EasyBot has been working around the world for the last 3 going on 4 years. All right, currently has 74,000 users in 172 countries, and in the last 2 years has executed over 14 million profitable trades with a 99.7 profitability rate. And there's a little issues with slippage once in a while in terms of the communication. And it also is currently trading $1.5 billion in trading volume, of which it has never touched anyone's trading capital. So it's really growing, it's really innovating, and we're allowing really just to kind of show the good side of crypto. There it is. Hopefully you can
All right, you want me to give it a play now?
yeah, go ahead and see if it works better. All right, you can open it up. Yeah. Uh-oh.
I'm not sure what happened there, John. Stopped.
It kind of
Can you hear it?
no, it's not.
Okay, let me try again. I thought it was just playing. It's fine.
Yeah, it was.
The special audio.
Welcome to the future of trading. Today we
Can you hear
present
anything or nothing?
EasyBot.
I hear it. The
crypto
video is
trading
just not.
software
You don't see
that
the
makes
video.
trading
Okay.
easy.
Yeah.
Let me try one more time.
Before we begin,
Alright.
a quick disclaimer.
I'm gonna try start it again.
All right.
Unless you guys really, yeah, you'll probably want to see that video. Let me try it again.
Yeah.
One more time.
Okay, we're good.
Welcome to the future of trading. Today we present EasyBot, the automated crypto trading software that makes trading easy. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. Are you ready to increase your crypto and Bitcoin holdings? Join a company with a proven track record of success. So what exactly is EasyBot? It's algorithmic intelligence that automates crypto trading, safe, secure, and consistent. Enjoy the benefits of professional trading without the headaches, because all bots are not created equal. With the EasyBot default strategy, you don't have to be an expert. Whether you're just starting out or have experience, you can quickly set up and close profitable trades without the hassle of adjusting complex parameters. You can see the parameters of the default strategy when selecting it on the bot settings page, and you can also watch the video that explains it. Want more control? Design your own winning formula. EasyBot's customizable settings give you full control over your trading strategy, whether you're day trading, scalping, or experimenting. EasyBot is built for profitable trades only. It's intelligently programmed to respond to any market condition and designed to never close a trade at a loss, with a historical success rate of over 99%, keeping you as safe as possible from major downturns. One of the most important features is 100% of your trading funds remain in your exchange account. With EasyBot, you don't have to relinquish your funds. Trading is done via a secure API connection within your trusted exchange. Now let's discover the power of compound interest. EasyBot's automatic compounding feature lets your earnings from previous trades fuel future ones, creating a cycle of growth. As Benjamin Franklin said, "Money makes money, and the money that money makes money." EasyBot can sustain trading even through a 90% market drop, allowing you to keep trading when others would be stuck. Since May 19th, 2022, our live account has demonstrated incredible results, achieving its first major milestone. After 848 days, EasyBot achieved a remarkable 100.4% gain, generating over $19,000 in profit. Shortly thereafter, EasyBot hit two more significant milestones: 10 million trades closed and $1 billion in total trade volume. An important component is consistent contributions. Regularly adding a fixed amount, even in small increments, leverages the power of compounding, where earnings generate their own earnings. EasyBot now features 29 stablecoin trading pairs and 32 Bitcoin growth pairs. If you believe in Bitcoin's long-term value, these are the easiest ways to grow your holdings. Now let's recap. Your trading funds remain in your exchange account. They never go to EasyBot. Which exchanges is EasyBot compatible with? EasyBot supports several major exchanges, including Binance, BitGet, Bybit, Coinbase, Kraken, and KuCoin. What are software service fees? These fees are deducted from your EasyBot wallet each time a trade closes. Simply preload your wallet to ensure seamless trading. Need assistance? EasyBot makes it easy with live Zoom calls, email support, FAQs, and a global community. Our live calls not only provide support, but also create opportunities for users to share, learn, and earn together. EasyBot is reshaping the future of crypto auto trading with 24/7 stress-free trading, consistent profitable returns, profit during up and down markets, auto compound your earnings, and the freedom to withdraw your earnings anytime. No trading experience needed. Now getting started is easy. Connect with the person who shared this video. They'll help you register, verify, and set up your trading account. Let's embark on this journey together. And don't forget to ask about our optional referral rewards program, EasyBot Crypto Made Easy.
All right, John, thank you for that. All right, so I'm gonna try to share again. So I'm just gonna go over a few slides. Let's see.
Hold on a second. Okay, you should be able to share.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Are you able to see it now?
Yep.
All right, great. All right, so I'm just gonna go over some of the key slides regarding EasyBot. You know, we don't make any projections on future ROI. EasyBot is really more of a conservative wealth building tool, right? So a lot of people come into crypto and they want to make millions right away. And that's not what we promote. We promote wealth building and then leveraging it to acquire hard assets. All right. And so it will help increase individuals' crypto and Bitcoin's holdings, even without a lot of experience or training. A lot of individuals or people in the Caribbean communities and African American communities, you know, are hesitant to go into crypto because they just, you know, don't seem that they can trust it based on the media, based on a lot of things that you hear in the news. But there truly is a good side of crypto. I know when I started about 5 years ago, I did lose a lot of money to scams. That's because I was sending it out oftentimes, and then before you know it, you know, they were gone with it. But with a platform like this, where you don't send out your assets, and it does have an actual corporate structure where you have support, where you have transparency, where you're able to really see on both sides, whether it's in your exchange or in your EasyBot dashboard, all the trades that take place, everything is right there. So there are no, you know, hidden information. Everything is right there. And we share the fact that the government themselves has a lot of crypto holdings. The interesting thing about crypto that we've seen is a lot of times individuals wait for the prices to go up before they jump in. But, you know, it's just like any business. You want to buy low and sell high. And so we promote that. We promote, hey, while there's a downward trend in the market, you know, acquire what you can, diversify. And then when the market goes up, you're ready to ride. What is EasyBot? We break it down into the people, the product, and the plan. EasyBot is very people-oriented, community-based, and we share information because we're all going for the same goal, and that's to earn safely and consistently in crypto. At the helm is Dr. Muhammad Ali. He's the CEO for EasyBot. He's from Sudan. He's an engineer and a mathematician by trade. EasyBot wasn't started just to earn money. It was really started out of a need. He was in another bot that was Asian-based and was doing well when the market was up. But as soon as the market started going down, people's funds got stuck. So he wrote an algorithm to help them get unstuck. He even offered it to the company, but they never returned his call. So he just went and shared it with those individuals, and they were able to get unstuck. And as a result, there were a group of investors that said, if you ever want to start a business, we want to back you. And that's how EasyBot got started. It was pretty much out of service. And then 3.5, going on 4 years later, it continues to innovate. It continues to grow. You know, everyone shows their face. It has a good executive team with Dr. Muhammad Ali at the top, Coach Ken, Peter Anthony, who's the Chief Support Officer. One thing you're going to know about EasyBot is the support system is second to none. You're not just sending in support tickets or emails. They're solving any issues live. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, you call in, you get any issue, because it's software. Sometimes it goes offline, but those issues are resolved right then and there. You have Martin Thomas and myself who are in the sales, as well as the business intelligence officer, Mr. Anderson. Now, the core values is really the center, the foundation of EasyBot, you know, from service, integrity, trust, respect, leadership, commitment, patience, quality, gratitude, and consistencies is really the cornerstone of what EasyBot is built on. You're not gonna, you know, like I said, hear a lot of, or you're gonna earn thousands and thousands a day with the crypto, or you're gonna have, you know, X amount of percentage. We do everything based on facts, based on data, and we give the proper expectations coming in. So if you're coming in with a $300 account or a $600 account, you know, don't expect to have, you know, tens of thousands in return, you know, in the next 3 months. But we're going to show you how you can systematically build your portfolios. utilizing this tool so that way over time it grows to where your financial needs wants it to grow. So let's talk about the product. EasyBot is an algorithmic intelligence programmed. The bots really do all the work. Once you set it up, you don't forget it, but you just check on it. But it works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it allows individuals to really, even in small increments, right? It allows you to see your gains on a daily basis with the dashboard. If you are a professional trader, you can have one on a default strategy and you can have one bot pair on your own strategy. So it's completely flexibility. You are in total control of everything. And this is whether you're a beginner or an advanced user, you can use the software, or if you have your own strategy, you have the ability to use it as well, and to really, take your earnings to the next level, because EasyBot has features that's built in with auto compounding, utilizing compound interest, that a lot of traditional investment vehicles don't have. And so you're able to grow your accounts exponentially. And here's really why I joined. After being burnt for many times on various platforms in the crypto space, sending my money out, here 100% of your trading funds remain in your exchange. So nothing is 100% foolproof, but if EasyBot were to go out of business or to be shut down, your funds are safe with you in your exchange. Here's a powerful feature, the auto compounding. Every time the bot closes in profit, that profit goes right back to the top into the next trade instantaneously, and it keeps growing. Every time that trade cycles, the auto compounding kicks in. So Benjamin Franklin really describes it as money makes money, and the money that money makes money. So it's really utilizing the fact that money can work harder than you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you want to utilize that feature, right? You hear a lot, chase the bag. No, you let the bag chase you and let your money work for you. The default strategy now, when Dr. Ali first wrote the algorithm, it could sustain up to a 50% drop in the market. But now with the market crash recovery, we've seen accounts that sustained up to a 94% drop. It utilizes dollar cost averaging. It utilizes spot trading, right? So that way it can sustain profits even going down. But now they have a new strategy called the sliding blockchain, where it's even more advanced, and it utilizes the blockchain technology. This right here is a live performance account where it has, I believe, 19 pairs. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter, what pair starts out. The volatility within the space will allow another coin or pair to come in. So you want to be diversified. And so what this is just showing, in the last 848 days that this account has been active, it produced 100% in returns after 848 days. And like I mentioned, all of your trades are in your back office as well as mirrored in your exchange. So there's full transparency. When this slide was written, it was 10 million closed trades and profit, 1 billion. That was several months ago. But now it has exceeded it to 14 million and 1.4 billion in trading volume. And this is another one of the live performance accounts. I'm not going to go into that. We promote consistent contributions. And when we say consistent contributions, it's really just being a part of your own success. So you're simply contributing to your exchange because you don't send anything to EasyBot. So whether you're on Coinbase, whether you're on Binance, KuCoin, on a regular basis, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot, small increments, consistent contributions, that fortifies the auto compounding mechanism, allowing your portfolio to grow that much faster. And so we support that. It's a part of the wealth building strategy within the corporate structure of EasyBot, because our main focus really is providing a good, simple, and user-friendly experience for the users. And so by having these features, having the continuous, constant education, constant training, it allows anyone on any level to be successful in earning in the crypto space. In the last 7 or 8 months, EasyBot introduced the Bitcoin growth bots, and that's really to help increase the quantity of Bitcoins in your portfolio instead of just hodling it and letting it wait for the value, which you'll earn. But now using the Bitcoin growth bots, you can increase the quantity of Bitcoin. So instead of just having one, you may have 1.2 or 1.4. And as the value goes up, it increases the amount that you have as well. So you'll end up maximizing your Bitcoin returns in terms of its valuation. The 6 exchanges that EasyBot uses are Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, BitGet, KuCoin, and Bybit. So it really just depends on where you're geographically located. You can connect with one or multiple exchanges because it allows you to mitigate risk even on the exchange side by being able to connect to various exchanges that's authorized with EasyBot. So your trading funds, you want to trade, you go into EasyBot. It never asks you for your trading capital. The only thing you really send to EasyBot is your software subscription cost, which is annual. I'm going to go into that. And you put a little bit in your EasyBot wallet to absorb the software service fees. Software service fees are small fees that every time the bot closes in profit, 0.4 to 0.2%, depending on your subscription, comes out in software service fees. So if you, for example, $100, 0.4% of that is 40 cents. So it's not a lot that you're going to see. You won't even feel it, but that's how EasyBot earns its revenues. It has an excellent support system where it's live in terms of resolving any issues. You do have the ticketing system or the email system, but most people utilize the live calls to get any issues resolved. And really, EasyBot is wanting everyone to come into the crypto space, feeling a level of safety, less stress, where you have consistent and profitable returns. Doesn't matter what the market trend is, if it's up or down, you still have the ability to earn profit, to increase your profit within your portfolio and earnings through auto compounding. And you always have the ability to withdraw. You always have access to your funds. You do not have to make any phone calls or email requests. You simply go in and you withdraw your funds as you need. Some people have had emergencies. They've taken their full account amount out and then come back at a later date, without skipping a beat. So again, safety and usability is real key. And those are some of the features why a lot of people, and not just individuals, but we're getting businesses, we're getting family offices, the more industrial investors utilizing the platform because of its safety and consistent growth. Getting started is easy. The main thing is you want to have your exchanges set up. It takes 30 seconds to register with EasyBot, and then connect the API, fund your exchanges, and turn the bots on the EasyBot side. And from that point on, the bot does all the work for you. For those who would like assistance in onboarding, again, it's free from the corporate level, so they have that ability. What does it look like in terms of how to get started or how you become a user with EasyBot? Everyone starts with a 45-day free trial. Yeah, 45 days to kick the tires. You can trade up to 2 bots, whether it's $300 or $3 million. It's really just proof of concept. And then once you are satisfied, whether it's on day 2 or day 46, there are 5 different subscription options that you can choose from, starting with the starter subscription. We recently brought this on within the last year, I guess, for a group out of Uganda and South Africa that wanted the lowest amount of entry so that everyone can participate. And the starter allows you to trade up to 5 bots. And it also allows you to have a referral link where you can share your EasyBot experience with others, and they'll get compensated for that, because EasyBot has a very lucrative referral rewards program. And then you have the advanced, that's $250. Now, these numbers are for the year. It's not a month. It's subscription to utilize the license for the year. At the advanced, you can trade up to 10 bots, 2 connections. The Pro is $550. You have 25 bots that you can trade. The VIP is $995 for the year. You can trade up to 50 bots. And then the family plan or the VIP Plus, it's $1495 for the year. We call it the family plan because a husband and wife and children can be on this, because you already know that kids can't get their own exchanges until they're 18. So a lot of users are using this. They have a 10-year-old or 5-year-old. They're running it until they're 18, ready to go to school. And then they would hand them off their own accounts. That's already been trading for the last, many years. And then, as I mentioned, there's a very lucrative, and this is really how we've been connecting a lot of the communities through the referral rewards program. Because now that you're able to earn crypto safely, you got your own portfolios running, all right? Using the referral rewards program allows you to also build communities within your own team, and you can be strategic as to where you build. So I've been building a lot in the Caribbean, as I mentioned, a lot of the African-American communities here in the States, as well as, we're very connected to Zimbabwe, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, in Africa. So we've been able to strategically connect communities utilizing the software so that everyone can trade on a safe basis and be a part of what we call the EasyBot family. I'm not going to, there are several different streams of income that you can earn. There's even a profit sharing program called the Founders Club where you can qualify. EasyBot puts aside 5% of its global revenues in a pool every single month. And those that are in the Founders Club will get a portion of that 5%. You have residual components on a daily basis as well as on a monthly basis. And it's all based on, active bots. So when those bots execute trades, revenues are generated. This is how EasyBot is sustaining, and how it's able to innovate and how it's able to really expand and globalize. And really, that's EasyBot in a nutshell. I'm not going into a whole lot of detail as far as the mechanics of it. I just wanted to share and let everyone know that, there is a tool out here that we are utilizing on a global basis. EasyBot is based in Dubai, but its biggest market right now is in the US and Germany. but we are making great strides in, Africa and the Caribbean and other areas that may have not been able to have a seat at the table for something on this magnitude. And we just really want everyone to know that it's available, to add to your portfolio. And John, that's really it. I don't really get into a lot of technicalities. I just wanted to share the overview with everyone. We have corporate trainings pretty much every day, and I'll be happy to submit, a schedule to you at a later time. And if anyone wants to know more, I'll be more than happy to, share my information, and we go from there.
Winston, can we open up for some questions for the group?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I was actually, maybe I'll open it up here. I was going to ask about taxes, and this may not apply to folks who are not in the US. US, anytime you do basically a sale or a swap of a cryptocurrency, you got to record it for tax purposes. So sometimes that keeps me from doing too much trading because I'm paying having all those tax transactions. How do you, I mean, that may not apply to people outside the US. They may not have to worry about it, but how do you handle the, that tax?
The beautiful thing is EasyBot is a software. So all the trades are actually happening on your exchange. So the taxes is coming from Coinbase, coming from the Binances. We don't deal with any taxes on the EasyBot side. And so, we just tell, hey, look, this is a business. You use it as a business. So all the legal write-offs and all the fees that you're charged, have your accountant make sure that they are, because EasyBot does give you a complete listing of all the fees and charges. So you do have that. And of course, in your exchange, you get that. But we don't do any taxes, nor do we do financial advice from the EasyBot side.
Other people have questions for Winston on EasyBot? You can put them in the chat. You can just unmute yourself if you want.
I'll wait to see if anyone else has got a question. I've got a few questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Anyone else got a question before I jump in?
And Isaac, I'm not a techie.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Well, I was going to ask.
You go.
You got a question on the website link to just check it out. Can we put that in the chat? I can also
absolutely.
put it in the Telegram group later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask, with the historic trades, I saw the live trades that you're showing. So is there any way of seeing the historic trades that have been closed out?
Absolutely. As a user, right, all of the data for the trading for the last 3, even testing, is in the back office. So we can pull a list of the exact trades that the company has done or that you have done, and that's all detailed in the trade history section of your back office. So yes, that is available. And the live.
So yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say the live performance account charts that I kind of briefed was actually a live account that the company did. Every Tuesday, they updated it to show the previous week's performance. And that is also in the back office as well. So you have 2 places to see your trading. That's in your EasyBot back office, as well as in your exchange trading history portfolio.
Yeah, but what I was asking about where you've got the live account, the one that's got the, I think it's like 18 grand that is traded from the 1,000, from the 1K that it started with.
Yes.
So are all of those historic trades? So if I want to say, okay, I want to look back and cross-reference every single one of those trades against the market, is that available?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes. For both accounts. I didn't really show the second one that had 29 coin pairs, but that's absolutely available.
Oh, brilliant. Is that available before you sign up or after you sign up?
No, we can get it before. Not at
Okay.
all. No problem at all. I'll just send an email to our dev team,
Yeah.
and we can get it to you. I can email it to you with no problem.
Cool. Yeah, I'll share my details in the chat.
Please.
Also, I was going to ask, you know, for withdrawal, so if I'm withdrawing on my exchange, is there a fee from withdrawing it off? Does EasyBot take a fee for the withdrawal of closing out the trade as well as when I'm taking profits, if that makes sense?
Okay, so when you're withdrawing, the only thing EasyBot charges is the software service fee every time your bot trades in profit. So depending on the subscription, it's either 0.4% or 0.2%. That's the only fees on the EasyBot side that is taken out. For withdrawing, it's just the standard withdrawal fees from your exchange.
Okay, cool. Is there like an active community of people, like a Telegram or WhatsApp group or
Yes, sir.
Discord or anything?
Yeah,
like
we have
that?
Telegram, we have WhatsApp. Primarily in terms of there's some executive chat rooms as well. But yeah, you can, as well as all the socials, you know, Facebook, IG. So you can kind of see some of the what the individuals are saying in terms of their usage, their experience, etc. The community really is something you really can't put a price on, because you have a lot of people with a lot of experience. Then you have those who don't really have any.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example, we have one that's called Crypto Grannies. These are grandfathers and mothers who are in the crypto space. And when you see their journey, we have one, she has her own customized strategy. When she started out 2 years ago, she knew nothing about crypto. And now she's making $500, $600, $700, $1,000 a day from her strategies because she, you know, communicated, and she's in every call, every chat, and she's just learned. And then,
So is she making that money from the actual trading strategy or from
the actual
people onto her? Is it because I don't want to confuse the
No, from her own
people.
trade. I think she may have onboarding 2 people, but this is coming from her own trading. She adjusts the parameters, you know, within the default settings, and she's been able to, you know, get bigger profits when it closes. Now, of course, she has to watch it 24/7, just like anyone else who's doing trading. But she's able to do it strictly off of her customized setting.
Okay, just 2 more questions.
Yes,
one, just about the data that we put in onto EasyBot. How secure is our data? Does it get shared with any third parties? And with you, what you just mentioned about her having to watch her trades, I thought it was fully automated. So when you set a strategy, or you set a stop loss, or you set a margin as to how much you would be willing to lose, doesn't the trade execute that automatically, or
absolutely,
or do you have to then go in and monitor to make sure? Has there been any occurrences where there's been slippage and it hasn't closed out a trade and people have lost considerable amount of money, or any glitches in the systems that you're aware of?
Okay. As far as the default setting, it's pretty much autopilot. When you set up you set up your own strategies, I said that because EasyBot only trades 3.35% of the assigned amount, right? Well, she may bump it up to 20%, 30%. She changed those. And that's why I said once that her strategy, you know, once she sees it execute, then she brings it right back down to the normal. So I'm just sharing with you that everyone has their own different way of doing it on the customized side. And so, yeah, she watches it. So that way, once it does what she wants it to do, boom, she brings it back down. She may say that she will have, you know, 100,000 on that particular bot when she only really has 50,000, right? And so because of the leveraging that she's using, she's able to do those things. So all I'm saying is that on the default, It's strictly pretty much on autopilot. When you do your own customization, you already know your own strategy and how it works. So you know that doesn't change, but you will get the benefit of the auto compounding and other things that's on the that's built into the platform.
Okay, brilliant. And just on the data of people that are putting the information.
Oh yeah, good question. Yeah. So EasyBot doesn't do they're not asking for anyone's socials or anything. It doesn't do any KYCs. And you don't, you know, you have a user ID. No, these information are not sold. No, it's very secure and private, but we're, you know, again, we're not asking for addresses. Phone numbers are optional. The only thing that we need really is an email and a user ID so we can communicate. But to answer your question, no, nothing is sold outside of that.
Okay, interesting. No, it sounds very interesting. I'm going to fire you over my email very shortly because it'll be good to get the data history so I can do a little bit more of a deep dive and share some of my findings within our Wakanda group. Because one of the things we want to make sure people are doing is how to do due diligence on anything they're onboarding, regardless of the amount, whether it's $1 or $1 million, that we're following all following the same principles.
Absolutely. Yeah, Isaac, go ahead and send that over. I will.
Yeah, it's sent.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, and I'll also, you know, have them send you additional information as far as data, as far as history, as far as ROIs and percentages. You know, you'll have all of that so that you can analyze.
Brilliant, thank you.
I guess a couple more questions I had, and let me open it. Does anybody else have questions? We'll stay on a little bit here, but anybody else have questions for Winston? I've got a couple more, but let me see if other people do first. Okay. I was going to ask you in terms of like the login credentials, right? Because you're logging in with an API. If you also know what an API is, just as a computer logging in. You're logging into the exchange, so our Coinbase or Kraken or whatever it is. How secure are our credentials? I mean, is it something? Are we given that? Is that stored in your? How secure are our credentials if we're connected to EasyBot?
Okay, so again, yes. When it comes to the API. EasyBot only uses secured IP address for its communication. Anything outside of that, it will cancel any type of command. And the only authorization that the user gives is the buy and sell. No withdrawals, no deposit, none of that, right? There's only two, and that's the buy and sell. Once that has been established, then the login is really straight, you know, to the EasyBot dashboard or to your exchange. So we haven't had any incidents. I'm not saying it's impossible, but as of right now, 1.5 billion, no one has had any issues with losing funds. And EasyBot consistently looks to secure, of course, with 2FAs and all kinds of, you know, trading passwords. And so there's certain levels that they build in. And even with the withdrawals, you can't withdraw thousands and thousands of dollars at a time. So that way it kind of helps to, you know, enhance the safety within the software. Now you have the ability to send an email if you want to withdraw 10,000, then it's going to go through a lot more scrutiny, but you have the ability to do that. And I'm referring to your commissions. I'm not referring to the funds that are on your exchange. That's yours. You have full control of that 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I was also going to ask you about the strategies, right? You said that there's that grandmother who, you know, she is making 500 to 1,000 a day. She refined her strategies. I mean, so just like getting on the platform the first day, I mean, what do you think people would expect to make? What she expect to make? And then, you know, how much refining or how much, you know, work did she put in? Would you say, you know, to kind of get to where she was making that much each day?
Well, as I mentioned, her situation is very unique. We stay away from, outside of the performance from the live performance accounts, which anywhere from 3% to 60%, depending on the coin, depending on the market at that time. We always try to set proper expectations for individuals. So, you can come in with $300, but some people who do come in with $300, like, hey, I'm expecting thousands and thousands, every single month, and it doesn't work like that. So EasyBot allows an individual to build, right? To be in the game, to build wealth. And that's why we're real key on consistent contributions back into your exchange and then turning it up on the EasyBot side. But yeah, I mean, we've seen 12%, 40%, just depends on the coins and how diversified they are. Again, we teach diversification. You want to have as many bots active in the market working on your behalf, because if Solana decides to slow down, you may have Cake, you may have Aave, you may have the other coins, Pole, Matic, that are speeding up. So you're riding the bull as soon as it hits. So that's why we there's a lot of education, there's a lot of hand holding here, but expectations are very, very important in terms of educating and letting people know that this is not a lottery system, this is not a get rich quick program, but if you utilize it and you build it, you will be successful.
And I guess I'll throw a couple others in there. From that tax question, first one I had, how many trades typically is it doing per day? I guess if everything is downloaded from the platform, then you can just get the report of that for your taxes. But I mean, how many trades does it typically do per day, the bot?
Well, again, it depends on the market. Sometimes it may do 1 or 2 a day on but a few months ago when we had that I call it like a little bull glitch, bots were popping off, 8, 9, 10 times a day with closed trades. Because it looks for every opportunity to acquire profit. And so once it sees those within its program parameters, it will execute. But mostly based on my own, maybe once or twice a day on a market like today.
And is there a minimum amount that you have to start with in terms of like the amount of crypto or I guess cash, whatever it is? Is there a minimum amount?
Okay, great question. That's really based on the exchange that you select. I can give you an example on Coinbase. The minimum amount to start with Coinbase this is really set up by the exchange, is 300 USDT, because Coinbase says we need a minimum of $10 to do a trade. Well, EasyBot only does 3.35% of the assigned amount. Because it wants to have assets available to do the dollar cost averaging. And so 3.35% of the 300 puts you right in where the exchange says, okay, you can start with that. Kraken is a lot higher. I think they want $20 or $25 in a minimum, meaning you'd have to have a $600 or $700 in your exchange for that particular bot. KuCoin is great. Binance, they're all at the minimums, 300s. I forgot what Bybit and BitGet is, but yeah.
Cool. Anybody else have any other questions? All right, great. Well, that was really good. Really enjoyed that. Very, very interesting. I try that out myself. We'll see.
Awesome.
And then I think we're just going to leave it open for a little Q&A. So anybody who wants to stay a few extra minutes, they can. I think, Isaac, I was going to ask you about the Pi token on your chart analysis. Pi has been doing quite a lot lately, and I'm curious what the analysis you have for that. But any other questions on any of the topics, any of the intro, anything Winston's talked about, myself, Isaac, or anything else? I'll be doing the recordings and sharing those and sharing the presentation. If anything you want to share in your presentations, please send it to me. I'll put it on the MeetUp site as well. So let me open it for any questions people have as we get to the top of the hour. All right, well, cool. Isaac, I've got that Pi token. So if you have any analysis on that one, interested to see what your thoughts are there. That one's really been moving a lot in the last month or so.
Yeah, there isn't much data on, from what I can see. I'm on it now since February. Actually, let me see if I can find a different chart. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it just depends on what Lex might have. Let's have a USDC. Nah, it's more or less the same. All right, let me. Yeah, there isn't much really. It's anything that I'll be saying now. It's not. It's so early into its day that you can see, when was it? This chart's only just so it's what, couple of months. Yeah, there's not. There
Not a
isn't
lot of
really.
history. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's not enough data to really be able to make any informed decision. It is the data is showing here that it's making a divergence, but because of the little data there is, it's very easy for it to show a divergence. Let me just see if I can see the volume. I can't move that control out of the way. Hold on. Let me move this out of the way. So there's trading volume here on 2.6 mil. Yes, early days, but it is showing buyers are ready to step in, but yeah, there's not enough data for it to make any any informed decisions or give any real feedback on this one. I think this is probably going to be a lot more fundamental driven with what's happening with the community. There's engagement of this stuff being built on it. But on TradingView there isn't enough, and TradingView is restricted to what kind of assets it adds on. Might get more information on like the DEX screener or different sort of platforms like that that show new tokens when they're launched. Any other questions from anyone?
Greetings. This is Joan from United States.
Hi, Joan.
Hi. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you, John, for sharing this information. I just wanted to know, what do you think that we should be investing in at this time, other than Bitcoin? There's a big thing about XRP, and I know a lot of other countries are using XRP. Do you think that's something that we should be looking into?
I personally wouldn't recommend any sort of advice on what someone should be investing in. It's really down to the individuals. What I try to gear towards is, if there's anything of interest, I take the time out to help anyone do some research into key levels of maybe they might want to put some money in the game, or if it's something that's totally new, what's happening, who are the founders, what's the roadmap looking like. So it really depends on, one, your risk tolerance and what your kind of long-term goals are, and then just assist them with doing some due diligence. I've done it in the past where I said, oh yeah, buy this coin or buy that, and some have been fantastic and you never hear from anyone, and when things go really bad, that's when your phone starts ringing.
Right.
So yeah, it depends what you're looking at. Have you invested in crypto before? Are you new to it?
I had started a long time ago when John first started, but I didn't really put a lot into Bitcoin. I really don't understand everything, but I did invest in some Bitcoin, XRP,
Yeah.
Solana, different coins.
Yeah.
I don't know how to trade, so I only invest in. I use Uphold for the platform that I'm using, and I switch everything after a while to my ledger.
Brilliant.
That's what I've been doing.
Brilliant, brilliant. No, you're going on the right route. And it's just a case now of just looking at what, like I said, it really baits down to your risk tolerance, because crypto is still in its infancy. As long as people might say, yeah, it's been around for a while, it's minute when you compare it to other assets, like even the forex market is absolutely minute. The total market cap of crypto is probably what the trading volume you get on forex during the week. So you're not late, but the easiest route is probably just follow the money, see what the more experienced investors are doing, and just literally just copy and paste where they're putting their money. That's usually a safe bet. Mitigate your risk, and yeah, or if you've got anything that you're really not sure about, or you might feel might be risky, put it in the community. I always got time for anyone to take time out and do a real deep dive into any project, because I'm always on the hunt out for myself for anything interesting. There's only so much you can keep an eye on what's going on in the market. There's literally something new coming onto the market every week.
Well, I did invest in another company, if that's what you're referring to, far as it's called Bellator, and they have a coin called Phoenix.
No, I haven't heard of that one. But yeah,
You never heard of
I think I've
find out
heard of
about
it.
it.
Excuse me?
I said
think
I'd
I've heard
definitely
it.
be interested if you could share some information about that in the chat.
In the chat. Okay.
Or in
I would
the one
in fact,
comment.
I would put it in, if Joan, if you're not in a Telegram, you're willing to share it here, I would share it there, because the Zoom chat will disappear after we leave the meeting.
Yeah.
But the Telegram
Okay.
one is going to keep going. And I was also going to comment on it that Joan, for me, so Isaac does a lot more trading. I don't do as much trading, and also Winston does a lot of trading. I do more, kind of like short to midterm investing in it. Let me put this in the chat. And for me, XRP is definitely one, again, not financial advice. XRP is, it's one of the top coins. It's one of the ones that I think, Trump has this whole US tax-free coins now. So
Yes.
there's XRP, Cardano, Chainlink. I think there's a few others. So to me, like for a midterm type investment, that's probably a pretty good one. Obviously, Bitcoin, you can kind of see that little, that picture I had there. For me, I'm using all the coins that I invest in. They're really to get me to get that top piece where I'm getting it either Bitcoin, which will probably be the global reserve currency in the future, or I'm getting it to fiat. So I'm getting some returns that you can use now, and then some returns for the future. So any of those coins that, to me, like midterm, maybe short to midterm, are going to make me a good return, I'm looking at those.
Yes.
I'll probably try some more trading, because obviously trading, it's riskier, but you can make more gains in the short term, because I don't do a lot of trading. But XRP, I think definitely. Solana, if you bought that back a few years ago, you're probably up like 7x on that. Solana has done a lot in the last few years. And then, I would just keep on watching, as we have the chat and discussion, like Isaac said, watch which different coins are doing well. And for me, the long term is always, the Bitcoin. That's when you're holding on to, though. It's not something that you're going to keep trading all the time. So.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Other thoughts or questions as we get ready to wrap it up here? Great. All right. Well, thanks for joining. We'll see you guys again with another one in the upcoming month. I think, Isaac, we're going to do a catch up with somebody right after this.
He's dropped off. I'll give you a call. I'll give you a
Okay.
call.
Sounds good. Okay, everyone, have a great rest of your Saturday. And
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Sunday. Yep.
Thanks,
We'll talk to you
guys.
guys soon.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ed. Okay. Bye.